Veeronica is here. I'm this level on her right now, and she is my new favorite survivor. I already liked the survivalist role before the update, mainly 007 because body blocking was fun, but Veeronica, she is even more fun and even more just self-sufficient than any other survivor. Only able to heal herself, can't be healed by anyone else, you are your own machine, and today I want to go over how to best use Veeronica because she is also just a stat demon right now. Here are the timestamps for the showcase section and the actual tutorial section. She has 100 HP like every other survivor and two sort of passives. First passive is Metal Frame. She can't be healed from any source that isn't her battery. No Elliots, no medkits, no Build-A-Man dispensers, you are completely on your own. And second is the battery itself, where you start rounds at 50% battery, but can charge it via all of these methods on screen. There's a lot of opportunities for you to farm up battery, and 2% battery is equivalent to 1 HP healed with your activate battery ability, which we'll get to later. First ability is Vandalism, aka the spray can. It lets you spray walls with a spray by holding left click, or erasing them by holding space. It takes about 5 seconds to fully spray, and maybe like 1 to 2 seconds to fully erase. It creates this rectangular zone protruding from it, where you're now able to use your skate ability, the main part of Vee's kit. Second is the skate itself, where you can activate it in spray zones, and you'll go 1.15 times faster, while draining 1.25 times stamina. This may seem bad as it's less stamina efficient, but the way you make up for that is doing tricks off of walls by pressing space whenever you glow pink. Tricks will briefly speed you up, launching you in the air and giving plus 5 stamina. So if you spam tricks, you can make up for that lesser stamina efficiency, though do be aware if you fail the trick and crash, you'll take 5 self damage and stop skating. As seen before, landing 3 tricks in a row gives you 5% battery as well. So if you're not doing much, you can just play around to farm some battery, but make sure not to crash because if you lose 5 HP, then the 5% battery gain was a net loss. If you do enough tricks with one skate, you can do 9 tricks in a row, earning 15% battery. Not sure if 12 tricks in a row is possible though, to get 20%. Anyway, third is the broadcast, which switches around how your skateboard actually works between Ghost, Bumper, and Mobile mode. With Ghost mode, the best mode in my opinion, you can phase through the killer to charge 15% battery, get speed 4 for 2 seconds, and resistance 2 for 3 seconds, which is really insane. This mode also is the least punishing for clashing into walls, letting you rebound off them if you fail your trick. You'll still take 5 self damage though, so do be careful. Bumper mode is the second best mode in my opinion. It allows you to bump into the killer for 15% battery and some decent knockback on them. But like, now your skateboard is on cooldown, they can't be bumped for the next 10 seconds, and you just put yourself right in front of the killer with some lost stamina from going up to crash into them. Only use this if your teammates are around your sprays, and it's a really convenient situation to help them out by bumping the killer a little bit. Or you can bump the killer off a cliff, but there's not much reason to use this compared to Ghost. Lastly is Motion, the worst mode for me, where you'll have an extra second after every trick to redirect yourself. However, you take 3 times the self damage if you crash. If you learn to control your skateboard pretty well, that extra second of airtime is pretty unnecessary, and you'll just be punished even more for missing by losing 15 HP. I really don't see the usage for this. But finally, activate battery, which simply activates your battery and starts healing 1 HP per 2% battery you have stored over time. But if you take damage, it will be interrupted. So, okay, that's Veeronica's stat kit, but how do you properly use her? Let's start with Vandalism, the sprays. Place these ASAP, all 3. You could be the first target and you don't want to be annihilated instantly. Place them ASAP. The first spray honestly could just be on any wall you want. It doesn't matter, just get it down in case you're the literal first target. After that, you can use it to skate over to another area and place some more sprays. You can do like 3 tricks to get 5% battery and move towards your next area at the same time, but don't skate too much because if the killer finds you randomly skating on low stamina, you're kinda cooked. Repeat that until you have all 3 sprays, and then you can do whatever. You want to place them with 3 requirements in mind though. Number 1, and most definitely most important, in an area where there's an easy area of obstacles you plan to bounce off of. don't go off of, maybe that'll be good. Yeah, that's probably good. It's gonna be way harder for you to land tricks when a guess 666 or Noli or whatever is all up in your face. Make sure your spray is near an area where there's an easy trick to land. Number 2, in an easily accessible area. Yes, you want to hide your sprays, spread them out, but you want them to be easily accessible for you as well. And preferably an area where if the killer does find it and destroy it, you can still loop somewhere nearby. And lastly, 3, that they're hidden. Don't just put them in the open, and that's about it. Just like corners are probably your best bet. If the killer finds it and destroys it before you even start skating, you're in for trouble. Now, how do you properly use the skate itself now that you have the sprays placed down? There are 2 main ways to make most use of it. If you're high on stamina, wait for the killer to get real close, keep your stamina high, and then phase through them with ghost mode to get tons of speed and start spamming tricks. With tons of stamina, you'll easily find yourself across the map in no time, possibly at another spray, ready to do it all over again. If you're lower on stamina though, there can still be ways to do this. Wait for the killer to get close again, and phase through. This time though, just stop after like 1 trick, or if you're that low on stamina, just stop after the speed 4 runs out. That way you didn't just drain your stamina to 0, but you still gave yourself a decent bit of distance to help recover for a little longer. Do practice doing your tricks though, because if you mess up while you're being chased, it's very punishing, and can set off your rhythm a lot. Secondly, managing your battery. To farm up battery, make sure you have all 3 sprays down first, because that's priority, but if you want to charge it, then do generators, because they give 8% per puzzle. And if you want, you can skate from generator to generator to farm battery in between the walking distances. Again, make sure not to skate too long though, unless you know the killer is nowhere nearby. If the killer finds you on low stamina, you're done. If there are no generators left, however, here's what to do. First, make sure the killer is like across the map, or at least no way gonna go after you. Second, find an area to easily spam tricks. Third, spam the hell out of your tricks. Per skate, you can do 9 tricks or more, so every time you just start spamming, you'll get 15% battery, and it's pretty repeatable. Do this until you have 100 HP and 100% battery, and you're good. Make sure not to crash at any point though, because every time you do, that's 10% battery lost because you lost 5 HP. You can cancel your skateboard early, just in case you've crashed and you feel like if you keep going you'll just keep crashing, or if you want to stop yourself from crashing. By far the most important thing, just as a survivalist in general though, always make sure you're as far away from the killer as possible across the map. Always act like you're about to be chased and have a plan ready with all of your sprays, looping spots, and trick spots ready for if they start chasing you. So, if you do that all correctly, you should be pretty set. Vee is a pretty map dependent character though. On maps like Assassin's Training Grounds, The Tempest, and this new classic Battlegrounds, it's hard to find areas that you can easily trick off of, to be honest. There's a lot of obstacles that look like they're able to be tricked off of, but then aren't, or there's weird invisible barriers, or the map is just awkward, and it's hard to do tricks on maps like those, so be careful. But, anyways, I'm just gonna show some gameplay with my thoughts explained now of some of my best games with Vee. I'm not exactly milestone 4 yet, milestone 3 at the making of this video, but I hope this helps you guys in using Vee.
You